Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to start and scale a thriving virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 68, Productivity Secrets from Virtual Assistant Boss Babes.
No matter the hours that you work, because some of us work full-time, some of us work part-time, others of us just work during nap times when the kids are napping, right? But no matter the hours that you are working, it's really important that you make the most of those work hours. Staying focused, being motivated, being productive means making the most of every single hour that you work. So that comes down to being productive, because I think, Joe, I'm sure you're the same. We've all had those days and weeks even where we feel like we are super, super busy, but have we actually been the right type of busy? Have we actually been spending too many hours just scrolling aimlessly on social media or playing in Canva for far too long?
And when you, like, as a virtual assistant, we all came into this to have flexibility, freedom, and control. And what we don't want to see virtual assistants doing is working a normal 40-hour work week, just like you did in your 9 to 5, and then feeling like I've done all of this work, but it doesn't show up in my bank account. And I am not billing out all of those 40 hours. I'm not even billing out 20 hours. Now, if you are in that position, you really need to take a look at your productivity. How productive are you when you're working on client work? But then, even more importantly, how productive are you when you're doing your work on your business? You need to make sure that you are living with your why in mind and the reason why you came into this business. Being productive and actually focusing on the right things and getting through lots of work and doing a great job for you and for your clients is so, so important.
It is. It really is. So, Joe and I, we've both got our own productivity tips that we're going to share with you. But we also put the call out last week to our community of virtual assistants and virtual assistant business owners, agency owners, freelancers, the whole community saying, hey, what are your top productivity tips? And so we're going to share some of those with you today.
We've got some awesome ones to share with you. So, first, we have Emma from Balanced Books. Now, Emma's productivity tip is that she says the best way to achieve a goal is to actually write it down, proclaim it as something that you want to get done or achieve. And then so she has a bit of a plan on a Monday. She uses the accountability um, post that we do in the members club to really have that as her trigger to be like, right, what do I need to have on my list? What do I want to achieve? What are my intentions for this week? So I can achieve my goals. And she does that. It keeps her on track so that she knows what she's going to focus on for that week.
Oh, putting it on paper is so powerful. Actually, putting anything down on paper is powerful because it makes it real, doesn't it? And who doesn't love crossing something out when you've done it or giving something a big tick? It makes you feel good and it makes you want to go to the next thing on your list and do exactly the same and get that feeling.
Yeah, there's something like a connection between like what you write down, or you could do this online as well, but what you write down, what you're ticking off, is this really good connection that it makes in your brain, and you just want to do the next thing.
You do. I also love how Emma spoke about accountability. As you mentioned, Joe, we have accountability as part of the members club for our members. But, there are other ways. You can get yourself an accountability buddy, a fellow virtual assistant that you've vibed with, that you've got similar goals. You both know what it's like in this business. And And whether you're checking with that person daily or weekly or monthly, whatever works for you both, it's a really good way to help keep you on track, keep you on that path.
Sure is.
Right. The next tip is from Kelly from Released. And Kelly puts her phone on silent and into a drawer when she needs to focus on a task or a block of time. So there's nothing worse than those notifications, whether it's the noises or the flashes. Talk about a big distraction. So what a good idea. Just put it away. Turn it off, put it away.
Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah.
All right. The next one we have is from Christy Goodwin, Business Administration. So Christy is a fan of time blocking, and she does this with regular breaks to stop the brain fog. So she does 90-minute time blocks so that she can really get into a task and focus on it. Now she says if it's a kind of tedious job, then she does Pomodoros to break it up. So if you don't know what those are, have a Google, and there are little apps that you can download on your phone where it is a Pomodoro timer. And yeah, it helps you when you've got the timer going. It makes you really like, oh, I need to get this done before the timer like goes off and stops. So you like connection in your brain, tricking your brain into really thinking like, oh, I'm under pressure. We all work great under pressure and under like a time restriction. So yeah, really great tip to use that Pomodoro technique and that like block the time. Thanks, Christine.
All right, next up, Melanie, Mel from Melanco. Mel reckons a good uninterrupted night's sleep works wonders for your productivity. And I couldn't agree more with this. I think everybody is different in terms of the amount of sleep that they need. But whatever that number is for you, whatever that ultimate, I know if I get X amount of hours sleep, I'm going to wake up feeling like I can take on the world. Whatever that number is for you, you need to be doing everything you can to get that number, don't you?
We've all gotten into this really bad habit of having our phones in our bedrooms and being the last thing that we're looking at or reading or watching videos at night. I know that you all do.
So bad.
Yeah, and that is so bad for trying to get us to sleep. So what I have purchased recently is a Bluetooth sleep mask. Now, I love it being super dark, like pitch black is perfect for me when I'm trying to go to sleep or sleeping through the night. And so I got this sleep mask and I can connect it to my phone, Bluetooth, so that there's no wires. And I listen to either the Calm app where it like reads a story or takes you through a meditation, or you could just find a meditation or a podcast or something. But I like to choose something that is a certain amount of time and then doesn't roll on to the next thing, because I want it to just finish after say 15, 25 minutes. And then I don't have the sound in my Bluetooth speakers anymore. So the Calm app is really good for that. And yeah, whatever you can do to prep your body and yourself for that nice, good, solid sleep is so important, because too many of us are watching our phones and videos at 11 o'clock at night in bed.
Oh, yeah, guilty of that. Oh, such a bad habit. Such a bad habit. Yeah, I second. Calm is fantastic. A little bit of kind of mindfulness and meditation, and some of those voices are like incredibly relaxing. I think I've been put to sleep within 30 seconds, I think, occasionally with the right voice talking in your ear. Like, wow.
Yeah, and they have some free options on there too. All right. Next one we have is from Philippa from Why Not Management. Now, Philippa, she needs structure, otherwise her productivity drops. So on a Monday morning, she makes a rough plan. That is not what I wanted to click right now. She makes a rough plan for the week ahead so that each morning she can really define that day's to-do list. And I agree with this. I love having written down exactly what I'm going to do, crossing it off. It's really helps my brain and helps my motivation. So yep, structure your days so that you know what you should be working on. And then just to avoid that aimless clicking around the screen, we've all done that. You are potentially doing that right now if you're listening to this on your computer, just clicking around. And our attention spans and our inability now to just listen to something and not do anything else, or to focus on a task and not do anything else. We've lost that.
Yeah, we have. We have. Kirsty from Shine Bright Virtual Assistant, she's another fan of planning ahead. And in fact, she goes so far as to actually do time blocking in her calendar. So for specific tasks that she's working on, she will block out that day. So she knows, okay, from 9 to 11, I'm going to be doing X amount of doing X client's work. Then from 11 to 12, I'm going to be doing something else. So she knows. I mean, every minute of your day could basically be scheduled if you wanted to go down that far.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You could really then make sure that you are using up all of the hours that a client has committed to for that month. I think it's super important. If you have service plans, or people are committing to a certain number of hours per month, or you have value-based pricing or projects where you know that I need to do 10 hours. It's going to take me about 10 hours to do this, then actually blocking that out in your calendar so that you're not getting to a Friday and then being like, oh, wow, I've got all of these things to do. I've actually got 12 hours of work. How am I going to fit everything in? Because I wasn't very productive at the start of the week. So I think this is a great tip.
It is. I think you do have to be realistic when it comes to time blocking like that. Those that haven't done it before and get quite excited about the idea, because for a lot of virtual assistants, this is a really good way for them to schedule their time. But you need to be realistic. And so one of my tips around time blocking would be the first thing that you put in or you block out time for is the other things going on in your life that aren't work related. So do you have a regular gym session that you need to put in there? Because that's important. That shouldn't be removed and replaced with client work. If you go once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, that's really important self-care. Have you committed to taking your child to soccer practice every Thursday? That's important. That needs to be in there. So then once you've got all those personal important things in there, then you can see exactly how many work hours you've got left to fill in.
I love that. Yeah, prioritize the personal, get that in the calendar first, and then work fits around that. That's another reason why we all went into this business.
Yeah, that's right.
Virtual assistants. So keep that in mind.
So I've noticed, a few of the tips that have come through from our amazing virtual assistants are around planning and scheduling. I do kind of want to just add in here that, because we love it. We love a good to-do list, love a good plan. But also we don't want to beat ourselves up if we don't get something done that's on that list, whether it's for that day, that week, or that month. Things happen. And it's not the end of the world if something has to be shifted. So those to-do lists, you need to have a little bit of kind of flexibility in there and not beat yourself up if something doesn't get done or everything on that list doesn't get achieved that day.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next we have Lauren from Lauren Downer OBM. Now, Lauren says that on particularly busy weeks, she actually sets an alarm at the start of the day for a separate alarm for each task or client that she wants or needs to work on, to remind her that when the alarm goes off, right, you're finished with that client, moving on to the next client. And the next alarm. So this would be great for that pressure to make sure that you're beating the alarm and getting everything that you need done by the alarm. So she actually proclaims that she is a super nerd and she loves to be kept on her toes. So it works perfectly with her personality. She likes that challenge. And it helps her to not get distracted and achieve what she needs to achieve in the time frame set out too. So you'll get the feeling of like, as you go through your business and you have more clients come on, you'll know like I need to get this done within 2 hours, or I've agreed with the client that I'm going to put 3 hours into this or 1 hour into this. So that will come with time, that like how much time you actually need to assign for things. So thanks for that, Laura.
That's such a good one. That's a really good one. And, something that's just immediately come to mind listening to Lauren's tip would be we see a lot and hear a lot of virtual assistants talk about when they're doing social media, whether that's for their clients or for their own business, that it takes them far too long to create a social media post. So they're on Canva or on Facebook or Instagram, whatever, for hours trying to figure out the content. Now that alarm, setting an alarm for 15 minutes is genius if you're struggling with your content, your social media content, because a post shouldn't take any more than 15 minutes. If it is, you need to stop what you're trying to achieve there and move on to something else. You're just wasting your time after that.
Yeah.
Okay, Irene from Admin Army. Now this one is a goodie. Irene is a big fan of noise cancelling headphones, and I know a few of you are, but she also listens to some electronica to get her in the zone every time. So whatever kind of music gets you going, gets you feeling great and motivated, have it playing. I know for some it's cafe, cafe background music. Some people listen to that. So it's like people just like mumbling in the background, and you can hear teacups being placed and orders at the counter. People listen to that. Apparently it's great for some.
Yeah, it's just trial and error, isn't it? What works for you? What gets you motivated? What can you listen to while you're doing your tasks?
Thanks, Irene.
Great. Right, Nikki from Notabene Virtual Assistant. This is so key to productivity. Turn off all notifications.
Yes.
If she doesn't need the notification for what she's doing, then she logs out of it. So log out of Facebook if you're not working inside Facebook. So I love this because my phone used to go, in terms of notifications, it used to go off constantly. I have a couple of different chat tools. With a large team, there's always notifications going on in our chat tool that we use, and all of the social media. Like, I don't need to know that one of my friends has posted on social media. I went into my phone, went into like all the app list and turned off every single one that I didn't actually think was important. So I just have text messages and WhatsApp messages as notifications. And so then I can still see when the little like 1 or 2 like little red counter is on. So I can see if there's something there that I can go and look at, but it doesn't do the sound. Oh, it is such a relief.
It stresses you out otherwise. Stresses you out. Like every time I get a new phone, it's, and you're reloading all your apps on and stuff. And before you get a chance to go through and turn off all of those notifications that you've just mentioned, Jo, like it stresses you out. There is a noise every few seconds, and your brain just goes, oh, someone else wants me. Oh, there's something else I need to look at. Oh my goodness, when are you going to do this? There's another one. Oh, and it just freaks you out. I've gone so far that I don't ever have the ringtone on my phone on. Like it is permanently on silent. So I don't even hear my phone ring half the time. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
who needs to call people these days? No, now that's not good advice. Our advice is to pick up the phone and call people when you need to talk to them about something.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Anita from Wainui Creative. Look, she discovered Asana's My Tasks, and apparently that has just been a game changer in her business. The amount of things that you can set up in there, like I don't use Asana. I have used it. I don't use it to the point where I've kind of really delved deep. So some of the things that she shared with us in her tip, I'm like, oh my gosh, you can do that. That's crazy. She was saying you can set up, you can set up similar things in most project management apps. But she's got things like she's got a column for urgent, this week, this month, later, overdue, and on hold. And so then every single task that she has then goes into the relevant column. It keeps her focused and means that she doesn't miss a task just because she hasn't clicked on that client folder in a while.
Yes. Especially when you have multiple clients, and then even more importantly, when you have a team, you have to have a task management tool. You can't be relying on everyone's memory or just winging it, or, just saying to your team member, you manage things how you want to and make sure you don't miss anything. Actually have a system that you pay for that has all of the tasks in there and everyone has to use. So there's one central point and one place that people go to figure out what they need to do for that day. Really, really important. I can't stress that enough. All right. Our final tip from our VA community. Thank you so much, everyone who's sent through tips, by the way. So Wendy from Distant Assistant. She likes to batch things and then not flick between different tasks. So batching is amazing. So do the same kind of task all in one go. So if you one of your services is that you like do content calendars for people, like do all of your content calendars all one after the other so that you're in that zone, you're like in the flow and you're doing the same thing, you're using the same tool, and so it's super efficient, and you become really productive doing that. Especially helpful if you have fixed prices or fixed packages, where it doesn't matter how much time it takes you, you're charging the same amount. Now, if you can batch that stuff and get really good and efficient and quick at that, that is going to be amazing for your profitability. So don't flick between different tasks. Do the same kind of thing all at once.
That's gold. That's absolute gold, that tip. Yeah. That's our tips that were shared, or some of the best ones that we picked anyway. We couldn't share everybody's, but those were the standout ones that were sent through to us. So thank you to everybody that sent those through. And we hope that they'll help you guys that are listening. We've got some tips though, our own tips, don't we, Jo?
We do, yeah. One of them that Sam and I had both agreed that this is something that every virtual assistant needs to be doing. We do planning sessions and figure out what our full goals are for the year or the years to come. I actually do mine out in 10, 15 years. Sam thinks that I'm a bit crazy for doing that, but whatever makes sense in your brain, I have and Sam has future goals, and we know that this year, this is what we want to achieve. We break that down into 90-day action plans, then monthly action plans, and then we know exactly what we want to work on this week so that we can achieve those goals. And then that brings us to then doing a daily to-do list. So I actually really like pen and paper for my daily stuff. So I actually write down, these are all the things that I want to achieve for the day. And you could do this the night before too. And then I love the feeling of crossing it off. Oh, cross it off, cross it off, cross it off. Feels so good. Super motivating.
I've got a question for you, Jo. Do you ever add things to your list that you've already done but wasn't on your list to start with, but you add it on just so then you've got the satisfaction of crossing it off?
I have definitely done that in the past.
I've done it too.
Definitely.
It feels so good.
Oh, that's very nerdy. I didn't know that other people did that. You might be doing that too on your list. And if it works for you and it gets you motivated, absolutely do it.
Yeah, I go so far because I'm one of those people that even with my plan, my business planner that I check in every, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. So I've got everything written down. I know exactly what I need to achieve. But even the best planners in the world, we have those days that we sit down and turn on the computer and we go onto Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, and then like 3 hours later, you're like, what just happened? Like, where is that time gone? What have I achieved? So one thing that I do in order to stop that from happening is before I switch anything on, before I've even walked into the office, I know, because I know what's on my to-do list from the night before anyway, but I've decided what that first thing is. So mentally, I visualized it. So I visualize myself going in, sitting down, turning on the computer and going into whatever tool I need to do to complete that task.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's really clear. There's no distractions. I will not open anything else up until I've got that task done.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's just tempting to open Facebook or your other social media accounts. Yeah. And I know that you do this too, Sam, because you're sending things for me to review or approve, and it's super early in the morning. Like, I know that that's the first thing that you do because you're sending it through. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I think being aware of the time of day that you are most productive, because we're all very different. Some of us get a lot of our stuff done. Our brains are just on fire first thing in the morning. Others it's midday, afternoon, evening, late at night once everyone's in bed. Whatever that sweet spot during the day or night is for you to get the best work done possible, that's when you should be working every day.
Mm-hmm. I always have fun things that I really enjoy on my list for in the afternoon. Because by then, like, I can't review website wording or like write things, or the things that I find harder, I can't do those in the afternoon. I have to do those in the morning. So my team know that if they want to get me to do something or meet or like have my brain on fire or like strategize something, it has to be in the morning. Like, don't set a meeting in the afternoon and expect great things.
No, I'm the same. I would never have a consultation with somebody or a client meet up, catch up, whatever. I wouldn't go to a networking event. I would do nothing in the afternoon. It's always in the morning. And not too many as well. Actually, who was it? There was somebody else. They didn't send in their tip for this, but I'm sure someone's shared with us recently that they decided that they were going to put all of their client catch-ups in their calendar just on one day every week. So on the Monday, that's what they would concentrate on. So then they've got the rest of the week free to do all the client work and the work on their business.
Yeah, I think that was Amy from Ask Amy.
Yes, it was. Yes. Another great tip.
And it's about the batching the same kind of thing together, right?
Yes.
And you're just in that flow and you do one after the other.
Yeah. Oh, I feel so productive now. I feel as though I could just take on the world.
I was just going to say the same thing. Like, right, what are we going to do after this, Sam? Just talking about all of these things and being productive and how important productivity is, especially as a virtual assistant and someone who's growing their business. Great tips. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the Members Club and the amazing resources, training, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.